Namaste. It's Alma with K for Nepal, coming to you from Changanarayan village. Today I want to talk with you about kind of a sensitive issue. And today this video is just for women. I want to share with you some tips and cautions about travel and being a woman. I just haven't seen this topic covered anywhere. So please give me your comments and questions, and who knows, if you'd like, maybe we could make a video for you. We see about twice as many young women solo travelers as men, surprisingly. But why? Well, Nepal is really a very safe country for women to travel to. So it'll teach you a lot, and it'll sure build character. Well, first of all, Nepal is a very safe country for women to travel alone. Secondly, it'll teach you a lot about yourself and about your work. So there's just a few things that need to be said, and nobody's been saying them, so I volunteer to say them. So follow along, and I hope it doesn't offend anybody, especially the Nepali men. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe. The first thing you'll notice is that even if you're an average-looking woman or a bit overweight, when you step off that airplane, you'll be made to think you're a star. You are so beautiful, you can have your pick of all these awesome, handsome men in Nepal. A lot of this is sincere. We look exotic and come from these mysterious lands far away. However, there is a belief that finding one of us is the best way to get out of Nepal and go to the land of money. If you want a husband, then maybe someone people will say, oh wow, how did she land such a handsome husband? This is the place. They aren't all exceptionally handsome, but they all want to go abroad. On a more serious note, if you think you have some sort of disease or condition, you can get an inexpensive test in Nepal, very cheap. I've never been asked for my ID, so if you've been wanting to get tested, Nepal is the place to do it. Check on my blog posts to learn about some medical opportunities, but don't just show up and think you can get an abortion or something. Write to me first. And, by the way, it is not for major things. There is infection problems and a host of other things. So, no, it isn't. I'm not saying come here and get open heart surgery. Okay, so just I want to be clear on that. But there are some really good medical opportunities, such as dental. Now, first, please understand that life doesn't come with a manual, and we all believe what our family and culture teaches us. Even though there are these new laws about the practice of chowpatty, or against that practice, there are many deeply rooted beliefs surrounding the women's monthly cycle. If you stay in the Kathmandu Valley, or where many tourists pass through, it will be fine. But if you plan to go out into a rural homestay or volunteer stay, you should ask in advance what the customs are for when you get your monthly. It might be that you simply cannot go into the kitchen. But please know that you're not going to change anyone's mind, even if they act like you gave them some sort of epiphany. No, you didn't. So here's my list. Number 1, don't take a local bus outside the Kathmandu Valley, especially the night bus. If you really must take a local bus, consider bringing a feminine urinal straw. Just be sure to clean it properly, which could be a problem. What I suggest in my ebook is to bring the kind of liquid soap that you don't need a lot of water to wash off, like the soap a nurse would use to give a sponge bath. One more reason not to take a night bus or a local bus outside of the valley. They are not well maintained, and some of the drivers drink. You can take a tourist bus, rent a car and a driver, or you can fly. You can even do a ride share. with other tourists. Nepal has domestic airports in Lumbini, Pokhara, and Everest, as well as other places. Number 3. If you plan to do trekking above 4,500 meters, don't go during your monthly. 1 out of 5 people get high altitude sickness. So if you're getting over a long illness or having your monthly, take precautions. This also applies if you are getting over a bad case of diarrhea. So just remember, high altitude sickness can be very serious. I'll put a link to a blog post about high altitude sickness in the description. Set some rules for yourself before you go, because the first symptom is reduced brain function. Second is clumsiness, so you're going to be uncoordinated. Okay, 4. If you have a favorite brand of tampon, be sure to bring it from home. You can find one brand, which they have in abundance, but you may not be able to even find pads in the rural villages. If you are on the trekking trails, you must carry everything out. Do you really want to be babysitting tampons or pads? Tourist trash on the trekking routes is highly illegal in a lot of areas. They don't always enforce it, but you just don't want to be the one to get your name in the newspaper, right? Number 5, do not go trekking alone. We had a guest here at the guest house who told me a story about a friend of hers. The young woman had met up with a young man from her home country, and they decided to trek together. All was fine until they hit an area too dangerous for her to climb. They argued and finally parted ways at that point, and the young man continued it alone. He hasn't been seen again. Another guest, actually a volunteer, told of having to spend the night on the rock ledge of a mountain because a band of men were hunting him. He feared for his life. If you don't want to pay for a trekking company $75 to $100 a day, or maybe even more, you should at least take a local guide. They're easy to find, but you should make sure he actually is licensed and take a picture of it and let someone know who you're going with. Seriously, hooking up with another tourist to go it alone on your own is really not very smart. You can get a local guide for less than $20 a day, and isn't your life worth that much?